Is going to be a little discussion about women in real estate photography, and this is sort of a I wanted to preempt this whole discussion with I'm not some everyone knows I'm not some sort of ambassador. I haven't been elected to speak for anybody or anything like that, but the one reason I wanted to cover this topic is I feel like it's really under discussed, and that might even be the wrong term. It's not discussed, so that's how I see it. So I just wanted to touch on this, and this is just skimming the surface. This little video here. Okay, we're just barely skimming the surface. We're just gonna get in here, and as you can see, it's a very short presentation. If you're joining us, go ahead and leave a comment, and that's gonna be a big part of this. Hopefully, I can get to some people's comments live over there. I might just sort of slow down a little bit here because I wouldn't mind if a few people joined us. I believe it's 10 p.m. on the West Coast or 11 p.m. or something. That's Friday night. You guys are partying out there. I don't know what you're doing. It's 12 p.m. here where I'm at. So quite the difference. But yeah, let's get in there. We might not get too many people, but if not, you can leave your comment when this video goes, it's going to go, what do you call it? It's going to go into the normal, my videos, my video library. All right. So the first step in this, I feel like, is just realizing there is actually a problem. Okay. And you could very well be part of the problem and not know it. I mean, that's true in a lot of cases in life. Yeah. You don't think you're the problem. If you look back in history, people thought they were great, right? People had all sorts of people didn't want to let their wife vote or whatever, whatever the case was. They thought they were right too, correct? They thought, oh, I'm the good guy. But history told us a little differently. So you could be part of the problem. And I put down here, look at my YouTube stats. And I don't bring this up as a complaint or anything like that. I mean, I'm obviously part of the problem. Look at this. I obviously feel like there's definitely a certain amount of women real estate photographers out there, and look at my listening base. I mean, I'm not doctoring that number or anything. That's quite insane, right? So I'm obviously speaking or instructing or doing something that women aren't sort of liking, and I'm pointing the finger at me here too. I'm not pointing it at anybody. I'm not saying you should be listening. I think I'm part of the problem. Okay, I'm obviously doing something. So all this stuff I'm going to be saying, it applies to me, absolutely. So let's get into the next slide here, and I want you to sort of think of this in terms of yourself too. If you're out there saying, well, I'm not part of the problem, there is no problem. Maybe there is. Okay, we're going to jump over here, and what I'd call this real estate photography is a male dominated occupation. And the first thing people out there might say is, well, that's when everyone's working together and they're in like a environment where everyone's together. And I do think this male dominated occupation phrase does more relay to that thought. But I think a lot of this stuff is we're going to see applies in real estate photography. So we're going to jump over to this website right here. We're going to jump over there, and we're just going to scroll through some of these. All right. So check this out. Let's just go down the line here. So male dominated occupations are those that comprise of 25% or fewer women. I think we definitely qualify. I haven't done any actual tallying, but I can just go by, if I pick 10 photographers in my area, just sort of at random, I'm definitely coming in more at, like, say 10% at this number. All right, I'd say so. We're definitely qualifying here, and we're just gonna look at some of the challenges as we scroll down. So we're just gonna look at the highlight points and see how this stuff might relate to our own field. So women face challenges working in male-dominated workplace cultures. I don't think there's any argument here. So we can look through some of these pervasive stereotypes, such as a caring. I can definitely see this being the case. All right, if you read through all of these, I can see them. The view that women are outsiders and sort of threaten the norm. Some of this stuff may be more borderline for our industry, but the point is sexual harassment. I can definitely see this stuff taking place in real estate photography in such a male-dominated, the proportions of us. Okay, so things like problems leaving the industry. All right, and distancing themselves from other colleagues. All right, so we're just getting an idea of sort of the problems as we go through here. Okay, sexual harassment is more prevalent. I can totally see this. I mean, if you're, the thing is, I'm not a woman, obviously, so maybe some of the women can comment. That would be one of the goals of this video. You know, if you feel comfortable with commenting. So 49% of women in male-dominated industries said sexual harassment is a problem, whereas 32% in occupations that are more evenly, you know, there's more women and men, it's about the same. Okay, so that's quite high. That's quite a bit higher. So that's a big deal, right? 49%. So we also have gender pay gaps in male-dominated industries. So the first, I just off the top of my head, this might not be the fairest thing, but just thinking, I feel like this is definitely the case. All right, just thinking of people that I know and things like this. So I definitely feel like this is the case. All right, and you can see this statistic here. In the United States, many of the best paying occupations are in male-dominated industries. So that sort of tells you that the male-dominated industries are the best. They get the best pay, but then it's obviously the stuff we're going through. The women have difficulty in those industries. All right, and I don't think our industry is different from that. I think that's a pretty accurate thing if you were to run some statistics on our industry. All right. Definitely all this stuff, once again, applying as far as I'm concerned. So if you're like a Latino woman or a black woman or something, and you're trying to be a real estate photographer, again, this is one of those things where it's sort of hard to me to totally relate and, give you real world statistics, actual experiences, but I can definitely see this as being a problem. You're trying to get into the industry and it's a bunch of just white dudes and like that's it, and there's might be one woman or something. I can definitely see that as a problem. Okay, so yes, all the things that apply, I think the main take home point here is all the things that apply in the problems or whatever you want to call these, and male-dominated occupations, it applies to us for the most part. All right. Let's see if I can get that back. All right, we got it back here. So let's get back over there. There we go. That's better. And this is going to be a short one. So, what is the solution to this? And this is one of those things where the first step is just realizing there is a problem. And some of the people out there may be able to comment a lot better to me as far as how severe the problem is. Okay, I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of a problem in our industry. Maybe it's actually quite severe. But the thing I will say is I firmly believe, and this came up in another topic just the other day, that us as photographers working together is absolutely the way to go. There's nothing that's going to come from being crazy competitive with your photographers and not wanting to meet them. Nothing good is going to come from that. Do you see that? If you're crazy competitive, like I never want to see that guy, he does this, he does that, I never want to deal with him, I never want to meet him, nothing good is going to come from that. But if you imagine, like just off the top of my head, if you met up with a bunch of your fellow photographers and went out to lunch, had a drink, whatever, well, right away I can think of stuff that's just coming up that can be positive. Like you're going to get sort of pricing information and how well things are going. You could get referrals, right? Somebody leaves town, you can get a referral now. That's great. Isn't that amazing? I mean, just right there, you just had lunch with somebody. So making genuine connections with people in the industry, and I think this sort of applies to this topic, right? Where we all want to be coming together and working as a team, and everything is, I just think that's the best way to go. So that's all I have to say, really. And I realize there's a lot more to cover in this topic, all right? But I just wanted to throw this out there as maybe a primer, you could call it. I would hope this gets discussed a little bit more. I would hope some people would leave some comments, especially if you have experiences, if you're comfortable doing that anyway. Experiences, good or bad, or if you feel like it's not a problem and you're a woman, that would be another good comment. If you feel like it's just completely not a problem, or if you feel like it is a problem, you get a sense, people can get a sense in the comments, and hopefully this topic will maybe get covered a little more in the future, because I do think it's something that's worthy of our consideration for all of us, right? And something we could do is, depending on those comments, we could maybe have future videos addressing specific problems, like what people have said, how, what happened, what they've said, maybe a full video on that specific topic. Okay, well, that's gonna do it for this. I hope this, like I said, just primes the conversation. If people don't feel like it's a problem, I think that's great. If the comments largely come back and say it's not a problem, nobody thinks it's a problem, I think that's great. If a lot of people are saying they feel like it's a problem, maybe we need to have another discussion, right? So thanks for tuning in, everyone. I appreciate it. I hope you can leave a comment once again, and I will see you for the next one. All right, bye-bye.